care, just look for replacement, I'll care if it's taken.
Mike, he's gonna
Here's
wanna.
Hey, gentlemen.
what the process is first, okay?
Well, you sure stand out up there.
Follow them lots over there on our street.
Now they're gonna be
I am too.
Second
Well,
November,
yeah, but still,
he knows where to go. He's more like him.
this is a pretty big one.
He's got to be built.
There he is, there he is. How you doing, bud?
Oh, yeah. Does that, should
I
that be
just go
first?
under Jackie's list.
What?
What done first? Forget what the heck it's on now. Right. But I didn't know if that should be first or third.
One going on.
Then the next one's it.
Looky there.
One night. No, I'm okay.
If it gets there.
I have a good day every day.
Oh, yeah, about the downtown.
Good day every day.
Yeah, that district you guys have already approved it. This is a
Had a long talk
confirmatory
with
of going
EB
through all
the
the
other day.
council and everything else first.
Well, I've been friends with his family. His dad used to help me for mail. When they used to have the office down here, him and that Richard.
Hey, Mike. The mic's already on. Mics are on.
We go way back.
I just turned the recorder on.
Met EB's.
Live right now.
Pat's son, I guess does he work down here? He seemed like a nice guy. It's his cousin. Yeah. It's a weird
Fine,
name.
how are you? I got
When
again under.
when I was in school, I wanted to go
Who won that contract? Yeah, but I mean, is that what the board of work?
outside my head.
Just
Anyway, went down there and spent spring break, and 3 of my buddies. She's out of state. I've been friends.
Whose big idea was that?
Yeah, I got it here.
Well, hold up.
Why'd you do that? Wanting to see it?
Have you started on that household there yet?
Probably wanted to see my shelf.
I see Butch over the league.
So you're responsible for everything.
Is he working for you?
14 years.
Oh, Butch.
That's the only property right there that I know.
They got the Pacquiao Mayweather fight. American Legion.
$250 million right now. and
They're
then
paying
I
$100.
think it's leaking again.
It's on Derby Day.
If it is, I'd let it sink.
I think
Please.
Yeah, it's Derby Day, and then Ryan and what's his name are getting married that day, and then they got the Pacquiao fight that night. That'd be a big day over there.
That'll be a big day for TV.
But it was only 99 something. Hey, there. So anyway, I've never seen it paid.
Actually ain't been real popular. It seems like it's coming back.
Here's how. Tough.
My favorite was Lloyd Patterson. Pat O'Neill really liked him. Pat really liked
Oh, speaking of that,
I just found that out that he was a big fox.
What I did was I started. That'd be a long time. What I did was
Say, Joe.
How you doing?
Air conditioner seems to be running pretty good.
I passed that, hey, I passed that test during
You
these
don't want to do
meetings.
that.
Just so you
You don't
know.
want to do that, you just want to turn it up higher.
I am now.
Like I told
Makes
you.
it run harder than
Sinclair,
next
you
time.
were over Sinclair.
It's done here. You said no country.
Now I got your certificate.
Have you sold it yet?
Yeah.
10%.
Yep. Confirmatory resolution.
Of the resolution?
I don't see it in here, that's what I'm saying.
I think it was just the map. And then the notice, oh, no, there it is. It wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because I read it.
Just ask you now.
See it here. Oh, here it is.
When they sign the text thing? This ain't the highway check.
Talking about development agreement? Okay. Yeah, we're-
I'll go flat top.
Thank you. Hey,
Mark.
Saw you.
Mark. That is right. I just want to make sure that name was right. Yeah, I just want to make sure that was right. Ready? Call the April 13th Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission meeting to order. Before I ask for roll call, I'd actually like to ask for a moment of silence for, I believe, somebody that's inspiration to all of us, and that's Lauren Hill. Okay. Strong young lady. Roll call, please.
Yes, President Mike Lawrence,
Here.
Vice President Tom Rogers,
Here.
Secretary Tony Abbott,
Here.
Board Member Donnie Bryant,
Here.
Aaron Cook,
Yeah, so,
School Board Member Patrick Myers, City Attorney Joe Votaw.
Now we're looking for approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. If everybody had a chance to review them. A motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
First and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Announcements. The first announcement is I'd like to announce that next Wednesday, April the 22nd, there's going to be a balloon launch down at the end of Walnut at the levee at 7:22. They're asking for everybody to arrive around 6 p.m. in memory of Lauren Hill.
Let me ask a question while you're at that.
Yeah.
Mario, did they get a hold of you about ringing the bell?
Yes, they did.
Or is that possible to ring it like that?
We're gonna try to get them.
I seen looked like he was working on today, maybe?
They're actually starting to paint the towers.
Okay.
But the bells are ringing now. It's just a new program we've got to figure out. I told them we'd work on that tomorrow. to see
Ring
what-
22 times.
And then they talked to you, they wanted it to ring 22 times, isn't it?
Correct, correct.
All right, thanks. And there'll be a manufacturing roundtable meeting April the 16th at 5:30. And just to give you a little information on that, it'll be held at Ivy Tech College at the Riverfront campus at 50 Walnut Street. At 5:30, there'll be a light dinner served in room 446 on the 4th floor. 6 p.m. is a welcome and introduction. 6:10 manufacturing presentations. 6:40 is the roundtable discussion and should end around 7. Our next regular redevelopment meeting will be May the 11th at 5 o'clock. Move on to the financial report. As of March the 31st, there was $2,057,099.70. We'll move on to new business. Mario Todd, 318 Walnut Street.
Thank you, Your Honor. If you look in your packet, there should be a sheet in there that says Beacon.
Yeah.
That shows the property at 318 Walnut Street. And again, this is just more or less, I guess, FYI, give you some background on it. The property was part of a settlement agreement with the pitcher back in, I believe, 08, 09. The front lot you see at the Walnut Street in the yellow was property we sold to Cardis Law Firm. If you look in the back, facing the short street, it shows a parking lot. Mr. Pitcher had attached that parking lot to that property unbeknownst to us. We didn't catch it on the title search, nor were we looking for it. So this, since 09, we thought we owned that property. We do not own it. Mr. Cardis does own it. I guess it was Wednesday we met with Mr. Cardis. He's been advised by his insurance company to post it, restricted parking on his portion of it. If you look to the right of the big box there, you'll see some blue lines coming out. City still owns that section of the parking lot. There's about 12 stalls there that we're not able to access without going across Mr. Cardis's property. I guess this board holds the title to that 20-some foot, if I'm correct, Mike?
Ballpark, yes.
And you may want to think of, do you want to get that appraised and advertise it? Do you want to set a meeting up with Mr. Carter, see what he'd like to do, if he's interested in selling his portion of it?
Well, didn't the city do a bunch of improvements to that lot?
The improvements were already done by Mr. Pitcher.
All right. What would the board like to do, since it's no use to the city?
I'd like to know how we missed it.
Is Mr. Cardis, is he interested in purchasing that?
Mr. Carter said he really doesn't need a parking lot. We've got some grass in that blue area where the lines are meeting the yellow. We've got some maintenance that we have to do there as far as grass cutting, some curb work, that type of stuff that we'd have to maintain. Mike has a couple suggestions or ideas for the property.
Especially during any public functions or events where, off-road, off-street parking's always at a premium. we have some other areas in town we've done this. I thought maybe we could set up a meeting and talk with Mr. Cardis to see about some type of a use agreement, so it would be available to the public for parking. There again, I have no idea what his thoughts about this would be, but I know during Fall Fest and some of the Main Street programs that are put on, those areas are used heavily for the public parking. So I don't know if this board would consider that. I don't know if Mr. Cardis would, but
Well, do you think it'd be this board that should make that choice, or?
you know, that might be an attorney's question, because it was previously redevelopment property. Redevelopment is the board that transferred it to Mr. Cardis.
I'm just saying for the use that you're saying, would that fall under, for redevelopment, Joe, or?
What's the use, Mike?
Be public parking.
Under a user's agreement.
Yeah, I think it would be, if you guys want to purchase it, that,
Well, not purchase it, lease it.
Yeah.
Is what they're saying.
Similar to what the other parking lots we have behind the
Middle East
bank
and
here.
Frank, you mean?
Yeah, we'd have to set something up with, we of course then, under a use agreement, if we're gonna use it for public access, would have to provide the liability insurance on it, and then do the maintenance and the upkeep of the parking area.
We have maintained it since '09.
It depends on what Mr. Cardis would want, but over a long period of time, you'd be better off purchasing, wouldn't you?
That's
Depending on
up,
what he wants.
that's up to this board. It's just, it's already an improved parking lot. I would hate for the public to lose that, and then we have to either purchase property or improve property somewhere else to get the same thing.
Are you asking, are you gonna go to Mr. Cardis and talk to him, or do you want?
We want you guys to give us some direction on what to do. We just want to put some of the options out on the floor right now.
Suggestion? Why don't we go ahead and have it appraised and see what we're talking about?
Okay. Yeah, we just need direction right now.
How many years have been there?
I think it was Mario '06
05, 06.
when Pitcher,
And he's been paying
Improved
taxes
it.
on it all this time?
and he obtained the property in
Just since
'09.
'09,
And he's been paying the taxes on that?
since '09.
Yes.
I mean, my recommendation to the board would just be to wait and see if we have a parking issue up that way when there's events, before we move forward with anything. But
Well,
That's
it's
a
just, we
suggestion.
need to do something because of the maintenance, for us to get a lawnmower and stuff in there, we have to jump curbs and everything else to try to access it to even mow our small area.
We'd have to get a right of entry at this
We can
point.
probably get a right of entry from Mr. Cardis on that, though, Mike.
Well, it's,
imagine he'll want to see the grass get mowed.
Yeah.
What would this board like to do?
Want to get it appraised, or we don't?
I think if you're gonna get that large box appraised, you probably need to go ahead and get our little portion assigned to it appraised. There's like 22-foot strip there.
And before you spend the money to get it appraised, somebody should approach him first to see if he'd even be interested in selling it.
Correct.
Because there's no sense in spending the money if he's not even interested in.
Well, he would sell it. I mean, that was the one comment, I don't need a parking lot. What do you want to do? Make me an offer more or less, and, our question was, well, you want to buy ours?
I'm not
He was fine
interested in-
with status quo until the insurance company advised him that he needs to post and restrict it.
What would this board like to do? I just, I hate spending money if you don't have to.
I think we can get in there with a hand mower. That's not that big an area. You can access it from the alley, right? Right.
Yeah, you have access, you just got to hop a curb.
Yeah. I personally don't think we need any more property. Right. Right time do we get rid of some we got? We've got so much.
You want to put that in a motion, or
I'll make a motion.
that you're not
We're not
interested in moving
interested in
forward?
it.
Have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Okay, now in that motion, but we will see about using it for, special events.
No,
I don't think we.
unless it
supposed to get
becomes an
involved
issue in the future, with events.
What's your motion? If there's no interest in it?
There's no interest in it. If we take and use that and approach him to use that for parking and events and things like that, then we got liability and stuff, and we're just opening up ourselves.
You're right, I think to use it for that, I don't think.
If he wants to
would
open it
agree
up
to-
and charge him $5 a car or whatever, that's fine, that's his. But we get in these things and they always seem to turn around and bite us.
Keep in mind, if he does open that up for private parking, we'd have to barricade our 12 spots off.
Fine.
Let me see, we got our spots run right along the side of it.
So it comes back and bites us, this kind of stuff. It's not clear.
I see what you mean.
What's your motion, Donnie?
Not interested in it.
So there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
First and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
That's all I had, Your Honor.
Thanks. Move on to old business. Joe, abatement of TIF revenues for Hollywood.
Right, I believe, wasn't this brought up before?
Yeah.
Okay. You all aware of the change in the law?
Yeah, it's not, if I'm
That's a-
thinking correct, I believe it was not to give any more than what was in the original agreement.
No,
But
All right.
what was in the original agreement, as I understand it, didn't actually have the percentages there because that was the only, at that time, the only way you could do it was 100%, 2/3 and 1/3. Now they've changed the law, you can actually on a 3-year abatement do 100, 100, and 100, which is obviously going to give Hollywood a break. But I think that's what they're requesting, isn't that correct? Is that what Hollywood's asking?
that's what they're asking. I think we ought to
Yeah,
stick with the original agreement.
I thought there was discussion and it was no more than the original agreement, which I can't remember those numbers at the time, what Leslie said they was.
Well, but I think at the time, there was only one breakdown allowed by the statutes. In other words, you didn't have any choice on a 3-year, it was 100,
At one time there was, yeah.
2/3 and 1/3, Mike. You
Right.
understand what-
But I think
Now, since then, they've changed it,
Right.
and when they're leaving it
to give them
open.
more, but
Yeah.
I don't think this board, when we discussed it, I thought that everybody wanted to stick with that original, what it was back then.
Okay. Well, we just have to give them an answer, right?
But if somebody wants to put that in a motion to make sure it's clear,
Yeah, with the cost overrun and everything we've had down there, I don't think we ought to be any more breaks.
'cause it was, if I can find it, is that 100%, that's like $827,000 a year, I think?
It's up there.
It's almost $1 million difference.
1 point something, yeah, I had to figure it up once.
It was, there's a paper in here,
And to us, though, as far as the tip, it's net.
Right.
so.
so that's lost revenues.
Right.
Well, I'll make a motion, we stick to the original abatement agreement,
Present, original breakdown of 100%,
100,
2/3 and 1/3 in the 3-year period.
yes.
I'll second.
Have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Joe again, Ivy Tech Advanced Manufacturing Development Agreement.
You had a development agreement in your packet, I believe.
Yes.
And is it my understanding this has already been approved, or was,
It was voted on in council, I think it was like,
it was approved by council, so
Yes.
it's being brought back here
Recommendation.
to be approved by you all?
No, a recommendation to go to the grant committee. Is that correct?
It's already been.
Yeah,
it's
it was
been
already
here for
passed the grant
recommendation,
committee.
A while back. It's here because it's a development agreement. and not a interlocal, it lays with this board as far as approval.
You're basically agreeing to sponsor it, is that correct?
Partnership with them, yeah.
You're sponsoring, you're the ones that are overlooking the
I would
development.
so move we do that.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
First and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Joe, could we ask for the vice chair to sign it? Just because I didn't vote for it on council, I'm just not in agreement, so would feel better if I didn't sign it. Still support the project.
So make the motion, I guess.
Can we scratch that out
Does,
and just,
I'll have, make a motion to, will somebody make a motion for, who's vice? Tom?
I'll make a motion, the vice signs it.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Well, would I get a copy or?
We'll have to change the
Okay.
I think that's gonna be a nice thing for the community. Thank you for your hard work in that.
We'll move on to Joe again, Downtown Entertainment District, Economic Development Area, Public Hearing and Conformatory Resolution.
I think we're here to consider passing the confirmatory resolution. Believe that it's already been adopted at one time back in October of 2010, and this would basically confirm the whole process. And if it is passed, all of you must sign it.
Is there anybody in the audience here to speak on this? Nope. Okay. Nobody's here to speak on it? You need to read it? Does that get read?
What's the number gonna be?
Is it 3-2015?
3-2015, Kelly. Resolution number 3-2015. This resolution confirmed the resolution of the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission adopted on March 9, 2015, entitled Resolution Amending Resolution Number 1-2010 of the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission, entitled Declaratory Resolution of the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission, whereas the Lawrenceburg City Redevelopment Commission adopted the Declaratory Resolution Number 1-2010 on October 25, 2010. In parentheses, declaratory resolution, establishing the Downtown Entertainment District Economic Development Area, and the declaratory resolution was confirmed by a confirmatory resolution adopted on November 22nd, 2010. That's the confirmatory resolution. Whereas the declaratory resolution and the confirmatory resolution are hereinafter collectively referred to as the area resolution, whereas the area resolution approved the economic development plan for the area of the plan, which plan contains specific recommendations for economic development in the area, whereas the area resolution established an allocation area in accordance with IC 36-7-14-39, the allocation area for the purposes of capturing property taxes generated from incremental assessed value of real property located in the allocation area, whereas on March the 9th, 2015, the Commission adopted its amending declaratory resolution. The amending declaratory resolution for purposes of amending the area resolution to expand the area by adding certain real property to the area as set forth in the map and parcel list attached thereto as Exhibit A-1 and Exhibit A-2. Whereas the allocation area was not expanded and continues to maintain its original boundary and original base assessment date of March 1st, 2009. Whereas the Commission submitted the amending declaratory resolution and supporting data to the Lawrenceburg Planning Commission. The Planning Commission has issued its written order approving the amending declaratory resolution, whereas the Common Council, by resolution adopted March 16, 2015, approved the order of the Planning Commission and the amending declaratory resolution, whereas the Commission published notice in the Journal Press of the adoption and content of the amending declaratory resolution, which notice also gave notice of a hearing on the proposed amendment be held by the Commission, whereas the notice described in the preceding paragraph is also filed in the office of the Plan Commission and any other departments, bodies, or offices having to do with the city, planning, variances from zoning ordinances, land use, or the issuance of building permits, and mailed to property owners in the proposed expansion area. And whereas the Commission on April 13th, 2015, conducted a public hearing in which the Commission heard all persons interested in the proceedings, considered all written remonstrances and objections that were filed, now therefore be resolved by the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission that, 1, the Commission has considered the evidence presented and now finds and determines that it will be of public utility and benefit to expand the area by adding certain real property as set forth in the amending declaratory resolution. 2, the amending declaratory resolution approved by the Commission on March 9, 2015, copies of which are attached hereto and incorporated herein are hereby confirmed. 3, the amending declaratory resolution as confirmed shall be attached to and incorporated in this resolution. The Secretary is hereby directed to record this resolution with the Dearborn County Recorder. Adopted at a meeting of the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission held April 13, 2015, in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and signed by all the members of the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission.
Any questions from the board?
Is this the exhibit A1, A2?
Yeah,
We're not looking at the,
that shows the whole area, Donnie.
where's the one that goes with the resolution?
This
You got to know in here what it is, but, is it going to come
It
up
says
different than this?
proposed area expansion.
Yeah.
That's the area that Joe was referring to in this. And just to clarify that expands the initial area that the TIF district resides in and will also hold the riverfront economic development area
Yeah.
that will go in front of council
I
at the next
understand all
meeting.
that. What I was getting to is though you got Exhibit A1 and then Exhibit A2, and I don't see it on this map, and I don't want another map to come up later that we haven't seen that corresponds with this. That's, it happens.
It's the same areas on this.
Well, note, just make note of it.
Yeah. We can't, before everybody votes, can we get a map that is one color of that area?
This was just for reference, Mike. You guys actually,
I think you guys already
with
adopted this.
resolution, already approved the map, the recordable map. I just stuck this
But this
in.
is, well, how come you didn't give us that same map? Because the colors I know was different on,
Well, the same map was just black and white, the recordable map. It's the exact same area, the same boundary line. This was just for reference.
so nothing changed from that?
Nothing
that
has
map?
changed, no.
Okay.
I think early on you had one that had different layers on the,
Those were earlier versions
Yeah, but they weren't the latest.
until you guys approved it, and that one hasn't.
For the record, it's exactly like,
Okay.
In fact, that one still needs to be recorded yet. I haven't recorded it until we get through this whole process. But, yeah, you guys already approved the official map,
remember that.
which, and I've only got that in a giant Mylar. That's why I put the,
And it goes to council next week, so.
yes, the riverfront development area goes to council next week.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? What would the board like to do?
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 3-2015.
Have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Move on to Joe Schindler Release Event Center.
All right. I believe what that is, them do one of the elevators, Mario?
yeah, this board has already approved the agreement.
The settlement agreement, this is
And we
merely,
have the settlement verbiage
right.
as far as the agreement.
This is the settlement agreement in writing that I think you all have approved in dealing with the Schindler Elevator Corporation.
And if I read this right, we're not allowed to say the amount.
Correct.
Correct.
For what?
It's confidential.
Confidential. Number 5. So what would this board like to do? Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
I'll second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Move on to Paul Seymour. Housing on Arch Street.
The reason why you've got a hand-drawn blueprint in front of you is because until this gets okayed, it costs me about $1,200 to get a set of blueprints. And unless I know I'm gonna do it, I don't wanna put that much money out in it. And what I'm coming to you here tonight for, guys, is there's a couple in Aurora. They own a house. They want to come to Lawrenceburg. They've approached me. I've got a letter right here that I can pass around if you like. Their credit's good, they're fine, they're good to go. They're interested in 321 Arch. And Grant, I don't know if you was able to give them a copy of this, but I'll pass this around if they like. Packet. It's in their packet. If you look, guys, they're picking the 321 Arch. They want on that alley. And the house they got would be we've kind of been talking about it. The guy's got some special needs, and he needs a little bit more square footage on the first floor. The house is going to be bigger than any house we've done. It's going to be about 1,600, and I've got that listed somewhere on there for you, 1,660 square feet. It'll be a 2-story home, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. There'll be some brick. We'll do a front porch. He wants that brick front porch that I've been doing on the other end of town. I'll take the upstairs area and I'll put some vinyl siding on it. I'll use good dimensional shingles. I think Carl can testify that since the day we started, even though the cost of materials have went up and different things have happened to me, I don't think I've cut corners on anything to make it work. It's basically that the bottom line is, guys, is I'm just trying to put people on these lots downtown. I think on this particular house, I got the same mission. I met with them yesterday. I talked them into spending a little bit more money. The selling price on this house will be $150,000. They wanted it to be $143,700. That's what they wanted. I talked to them 3 hours yesterday. With the square footage, he needs a little bit bigger garage because he's got a truck like I got. I just told him, I said, you guys are asking an awful lot of me, and if I'm gonna build a house for nothing, it's gonna be for Regine. It ain't gonna be for you guys. So I'm trying to put them in a home. I did talk them into the 150. We'll make it work. I think they would be, a person willing to come to the community. And a couple requests I have is the one thing I would need from you guys is, personally, it would make me feel better if that 10% was put somewhere. I know you guys are against what we've been doing, but I'd like you to consider possibly tying it up with UCB somehow, to where it was sitting there, dedicated to this address or job. I don't know how Grant feels about it. Maybe he's got a different idea. I'll let him talk about that, but I'm asking you guys to sell me this lot tonight, and I'm offering you $10 for the lot, same as the last lot, with the promise that this house is gonna get built on it. If you guys decide to do this, I have to get a better set of plans. Banks now want an architect stamped set of plans, so I have to do that. I can bring them back before you, but this is basically what we're gonna do, and I think it'll be a nice house for the community. I've got, before you okay this, I've got another request, and this is just an idea and a thought. I've started another one over on Euphemia. I don't see any problems with selling it. I haven't had anybody buy it yet. I've had a couple people ask, but I would like to purchase all 4 of those lots. There's 2 reasons for it. One reason is I know that we're wanting to get something going on these things. I know we want to get a little bit different look. I don't want to go around town building the same houses all around town. I mean, if anybody's got any suggestions, if they can keep things about 1,500, 1,600 square feet, I think I can make it work. It's all about square footage. There's some things I can't do and keep it, I think, there, but we are getting to this point of that $150,000 mark now, which we've been climbing a little bit. Part of the reason is I have to. Things are costing a little bit more. They're getting us a little bit. Costs have went up. But when you hear that 150, really the way I look at it to the community is that $150,000 house to me. I know the lots aren't worth a whole lot, but the truth of the matter is to you guys, they gotta be worth 15, 20 grand. So I'm looking at this house as really being possibly $170,000 house. Now, the banks aren't going to appraise them for that, but that's not because of the house, that's because of everything else we've got that we're working on. So I asked for your commitment. Donnie, I've heard you say that we need to get rid of a lot of this property. We got too much property. Honestly, once we fill these 4 up, you gotta look around a little bit. We ain't got a whole lot more. I know you want them in there quick. If I've got it there, and if I can build them and do them, I'm not going to sell a lot to anybody for 20 grand, make any money. Darn good and well if I got that lot. And if somebody else comes along and wants to build a house on it and it's a done deal and they got a customer, hell, I'll sell it to them for $10 as long as they pay everybody the fees and everything, if it's like that, because there's other ones in town. I don't want to hold that up, but if I dig that foundation, those lots on Center Street got a belly in them. And I asked Mike a few weeks ago, I personally, if I do a house on the other street, I think I'm going to end up needing some dirt. If I can take that dirt from the lot that we're going to be doing this house now and put it over there and roll it in to the point to where maybe I can use it, it'll help me do a cheaper house over on Center Street. It'll help cut costs a little bit. I don't care if you tell me no to that. That's not going to stop this deal. But I'm bringing it up. I'd like to do it. If anybody's got any questions for me, anybody.
What's the time frame on the first house? That 321?
This one?
Yeah.
They want me to call them tonight.
I mean, when do you think completion?
They're anxious. I mean, as far as this house goes, I mean, what we're looking at, April, May. Guys, they're going to be disappointed if I don't have them in that house by August or maybe earlier.
So you're saying completion is August?
Probably sooner than that, Donnie. The problem I have with committing on a time frame like that, and that's a little bit of banking time, but more than likely, I mean, Kittles gave them a letter of approval. It's got some conditions on it. The conditions is they're very good customers. They've been with them a long time. However, the way this thing stepped out is the next phase is me and them have to do a purchase agreement, so that'll have to come before them. Then they have to go through the whole process, and it wouldn't surprise me a bit if Kittle doesn't, if you guys would okay this tonight, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it isn't 30 to 45 days before they get their paperwork done and tell me, hey, then you can start. The unfortunate part of that, this housing thing has been, and we're not going to change that. It takes a while to get all this money stuff sorted out and set, but they can't do it until this decision's made. But I think, I'm telling you August, it could be a little sooner than that, but these people really, they live on a hillside in Aurora, they're getting a little bit older, they want to be in the flat ground, they want to come to Lawrenceburg, they want to take advantage of the community center, the adult center, the Grand Pit, I mean, everything about it. I talked to them guys for the last month and a half now, and there's people out there that want to live in this town. Grant had a question.
Is this gonna face, Arch Street?
This one here will face Arch Street.
And then the ends on,
You remember where Lucy Eisenshank used to live? She's gonna be looking right at where.
will they have a fence between that and Lot 1, do you think?
No, we really haven't had anybody yet put fences up. We really haven't. I don't expect these people to. No, these lots are a little bit bigger too. They're 41 feet, and we've been building on 33-foot lots. So you've got another 8 feet there.
And you're gonna put an alley between Lot 1 and,
No, it's already there.
219?
It's already there.
Okay.
That alley, matter of fact, goes right by Boone's garage and right out past Slaybacks and Satchwell's there.
Okay.
She'll Sturdy property.
That's right.
All right.
Are we talking Sturgeon's property?
Half of it,
Okay.
not all of it.
So we're down the street past the alley.
Yep.
We're not facing Lucy Eisenchake's house anymore.
You're facing her backyard,
Well, I might be a little off.
I have a bare backyard.
yeah, right behind it.
And right over here is Lucy's house, but it's Craig's house.
And here's
Where
the
Billy
alley.
Craig grew up.
And here's the, oh, it'd be across from Billy Craig.
Yeah.
Okay, we got it.
Grant had something.
Let's talk a little bit about the utilities and the street improvement.
Okay. The one thing I want to try to avoid, guys, is I don't want to have to dig into the alleys or the streets to do any storm sewer work. So if I could get a tap, or if it happens, if it even has to happen, that's my question to you, is I don't want it popping up on me. I can't afford to do it. So that's a question that I've got for Mike and Mario.
Weren't the utilities left there that?
I think he's talking about the storm.
I'm talking about storm sewer because I don't think we'll have any issues at all on water and sewer.
And there again, Paul, it depends on your finish grade. You may be able to just sheet everything back to the drain system where the alley tees, where it goes in surface. I mean, if you can do that grade-wise, I think that'd be fine.
But it's going to be considering what the other profile's going to be on the other side of the alley, on the south side.
If not, if you're going to be a little bit lower right now, I mean, historically, that lot would hold water after a big rain. If that's going to remain the same, then you would need to put a yard basin in and tie into the.
Why do I have to be the one to tie it in? Because that's where it runs into the money for me, is I don't want to go out into the street and go down 12 feet. If you can bring me something up for a tap, if we have to do it. And
That's got storm less than 3 foot.
I don't want to go to the street.
Well, in the alleyway I'm talking about.
Either one of them, but it just runs the cost up. You guys gotta understand something here. I mean, I'm coming in here trying to build a house, and to be honest with you guys, 1,000, 500, 400, 1,000, at some point, I'm gonna say, find somebody else to build these houses. I wanna do them. Trust me, I want to do them. It creates work for the guys. I'm making some money on them, but I was making pretty good money on them when I was doing 3 at a time, and we were selling them, and they were just rotating. But when you do one of these houses, I mean, I might make $8,000, $9,000 a house. There ain't a builder in this county gonna come. Well, that's a proven fact. Is there any other builders that's walked in here wanting to build a house for you or for us? None have. You know, I got a group of guys that are willing to do this work, and I know, and I'm not saying that the city hadn't made a huge commitment to this. They spent a lot of money buying that property. They tore that property down. I applaud you guys for that. But I think it's what you need to do. I think that's redevelopment. Is it worth it? I don't know, your original investment's a big number, but we've got 25 new homes that are paying electric bills, they're paying taxes, they're paying water. You got maybe some extra kids in school. I don't know if all that's good. You know, is it worth what we've put in it? Are we in this to make money, or are we in it to change the city? That's a question you guys gotta ask. I mean, you put an end to it if you want, but all I'm saying is there's some things that I just can't do. I don't want to go out in the streets or the alleys. I want to keep it on the property.
So you just want it stubbed up at the property line?
Or we might not have to do it, and that's what I meant about all that dirt on that other lot. Plus, we got a little bit more yard there. On the ones over on Fox Drive, we got a 33-foot lot, houses were closer. Might not even be an issue, you know, and that's why I want that kind of getting back to this dirt thing is I don't want to take and haul this dirt away because I got nowhere to put it because I don't own them lots, and then need it, because if I end up needing it on Center Street, now I can't hardly do a house because I'm going to end up spending, what, Mike, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 just to get dirt in there.
At least.
You almost have to profile Center Street to know what you're gonna do on Arch Street.
I drove
Hey,
by
Tom.
today, Center Street, and the Center Street lots, they're gonna take a little bit of dirt.
Well, and I've got dirt right now and it's almost free, but if I don't know the answer. Tony, you got a question.
There are no other builders or developers that have come to us, but then again, they don't know that the city will put the sewer tap in, the city will help you take care of the dirt, the city will do this and do that. We don't define all that in our advertisements. I'm not against selling you these lots for $10, but I wouldn't want to do all 4 of them. I wouldn't want to put all of our eggs in one basket. I would be agreeable to the 329 and 321. That gives you 2 lots to work with the dirt. Hopefully you can store dirt on one while you're doing the other one. And right now, that I know of, those lots are not holding water now.
Well, then I got an answer for your question. Don't give me 329, give me 291, one that I know is going to need dirt, because I don't want to go piling dirt on a lot that doesn't need it.
Well, I'm looking at it like,
You understand my point there.
I'm looking at it like on Center Street, on the corner of Center and Arch, another developer could come there and, I don't know, and build something else. And that's.
You know
they'd
what,
have
you
the
got
two lots
my
together.
word, if you can find you another guy that wants that building, $10 bill.
Okay. Well,
I'll make that
would be in
promise
the
to you. I
agreement. If you get all 4 lots, I would definitely like that to be in the agreement that you have to sell it for $10 to somebody else who wants it.
I'll do
Another
it.
developer.
If he come in there and build another house, it's not gonna make me mad, I don't care, because the truth is you got a couple more down on St. Clair, and if I've got somebody, hell, I'll go down there and get one. There's other lots in town that I can get. I'm looking at this because if the flow goes right, that dirt that I'm making like over there at Green's old property right now. I either gotta get rid of it, which is gonna cost me money somewhere else, or I'm gonna have to buy it. Same as that developer that you're talking about. If he comes in, I don't know how anybody ain't gonna bring any dirt in there. It ain't gonna be a lot, but it's gonna cost some money.
Well, let's take care of this one lot you're asking for first. You know, I've agreed to sell it for $10, but the others, I think the city needs to put some signage on them, get some information out there with what we got. Paul, you do a good job on these houses and stuff, but I'm like,
Donnie, you've had 4 years to get the message out.
we haven't done it totally the right way, I don't think.
Donnie, I would suggest to do at least, like Paul said, do the 291 also, so it would keep him from hauling dirt away and then having to haul dirt back if he wound up with that lot.
Yeah, if somebody wants the lot, then that guy's gonna have to pay to have it moved away.
But he's saying any lot that he buys, he would sign an agreement that he would sell it for $10 to another builder. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Paul?
If I'm over there and I've got, to be honest with you, what I would probably do is 321 and then,
I mean, if he'll sign an agreement that he would sell to any other builder for $10 if they come in and want to build a home, I would do the all four. He's the only one that's built anything, and he's going to get started right away. Hopefully he can run with them and get them all four sold and built. But if not, as long as it's in the document that he'll sell them.
You know as well as I do, in the community here, that everybody thinks the same people get all the work, all the jobs, all the properties, everything. What I'm just trying to do is not put all our eggs in one basket, and, you know, we can show that we made an effort, a good effort by putting signage on it, and
Well, if that's the case, and at least do 291, he can put the dirt over there, but he's saying he'd sign an agreement to sell that one for $10 if a builder comes. Is that correct, Paul?
Can I make a motion here? Can I make a motion that we sell to Mr. Seymour 291 and 297, or 301 Arch, for $10 apiece with the agreement. If someone wants to come in, and like he said, it's been 4 years, no one's come here, no one said anything, and why we want to kick this guy in the butt.
Nobody's kicking him down.
How many properties did you
Two. 291 Center and 297 Center, $10 apiece.
No, that's not what he wants. He needs 321. That's the one he's got sold.
that's the one I got sold.
And then
is 321
291.
Arch.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like to keep my options open, Tom, and there could be something else. We might want a low-income apartment building there, because Lawrenceburg's short on apartments. I mean, that's in my neighborhood, but it's still,
Now, wait a
if
minute
that's what
here.
the city may need.
Hold on just a minute, Paul. Just because we have a motion on the floor for them two lots, I just want to go ahead.
Okay, my motion is for 321 Arch and 391 Center. Sell it for $10 apiece.
Because I don't want to get 28 things going here and then nobody knows where we're at. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Okay.
291.
I would like to address Tony's question to me there.
Go ahead.
In a nice, I just went to these people and I talked them into investing 170 grand in town. I don't want a low-income apartment next to the house. I'll tell you that right now. I don't want to go around town telling these people that we're going to put nice homes on a lot, and the next thing you guys want to do is put a damn low-income apartment on a lot next to them.
I'm saying that's what we're going to do. I'm just saying that's what we could.
You want to keep that option open. All I'm asking you to do right now is make a commitment to me and let me know that you're not going to let that happen.
I'm going to be happy to see construction going, a new home, and going on the property tax base.
Well,
That's what
I need a little more than that, guys. I can tell you right now, I've been working my butt off trying to sell these new homes, and I want a commitment from you guys right now. I don't want a new low-income apartment on there. We got community health up there on the right, we got a community health behind these people, and if you don't think that wasn't a topic of conversation,
I live there, Paul, I know that. topic of conversation. I mean,
Well-
it affects me too. But if the people of Lawrenceburg need more rental property, then it's our duty to listen to that. I can't say.
There's
no,
better
you're only gonna
lots
build a
for
house
rental
there.
property than what those are right there.
Like you said, we're running out of property, Paul.
No, we're not. Tony, you
stood there and
guys
said we were
know
running
it.
out
You
of
wasn't a
property.
part of it, but Larry Weber came to this board and he offered probably the best real estate left in Lawrenceburg, and y'all said you weren't interested in it. We could have built 3 or 4 homes over there off Hollywood Boulevard, and they would have been, couldn't have asked for a better spot.
I never,
Wasn't a part of it.
I was here, yes, I was, that discussion. My idea with that was to see if the other people want to sell those homes so we could buy all of that property then.
Absolutely.
Miss Ashcraft and the other 2 old ladies who no longer live there anyway, and that house is falling over. If we could buy all that property, I would be willing to buy it, but I wasn't gonna buy 3 lots with 2 other ones sitting right there.
That's just a train of thought I don't understand, because it all happens a little bit at a time, Tony. All this stuff happens a little bit at a time. This is gonna go on for years. We don't have to solve this problem this year. This is gonna go on a little here, a little there, and 50 years from now, guys, if you keep this going, there's gonna be people here doing different than we are, but we can't take the attitude that we gotta buy a whole block. We can't, if we're gonna promise somebody we're gonna build a nice house there, and they're gonna come into town and invest 170 or 150 grand, I don't want low income, 50 feet from them. So, under that understanding tonight, I want to go back there and I want to tell those people that there's going to be 4 nice houses on that corner, or else I don't want to build them a house. That's what they're expecting out of me. Now, if you don't want to give me them lots, that's one thing. I'm not going to be upset about that, but if we're going to sit here and talk about low-income housing and apartments, it'll come when it needs to come, and the guys will build it. It's money-making property. There's other lots in town that could be done on.
And remember, the man offered to put in writing that any other builder could buy any of those other 3 lots for $10 apiece. And I don't think there's gonna be a stipulation that it couldn't be rental in that agreement.
Apparently there is.
Well, it depends on this,
Chairman?
what this board would vote.
Yeah.
Chairman, don't we have like 70% rentals downtown? And we got a family that wants to move here and live and build a nice home on a corner that we've been trying to develop for a long, long time, and we're gonna say no to them? I just can't believe that.
I don't have a vote in it.
I know you don't, but I can't believe.
I wanna see this
somebody
new
wants to
home
put
be built.
100, that'd be the most valuable house downtown Lawrenceburg, 170,000, and he just needs $291 for $10 to put his dirt in. And promise that person there's gonna be a slab house next to him that's gonna be not a renter, a owner. For the life of me, I can't understand why.
How about this, Tony? This might be a
First of all,
solution.
Paul, I never said there's going to be low-income rentals built there, okay? I'm just saying that's one of the options. I said to keep
I
our
don't want it to
options
be an
open.
option.
No, I understand that.
I just don't. That'd be no different than me going down on Fox Drive and selling all them houses, and then on the corner down there letting somebody put an apartment on it. I just don't think that's right. I don't think that's ever what we was after.
When we
Right.
first were doing that subdivision, we actually talked about an apartment complex on the corner of them.
I
But
wasn't
I
ready
want,
for it.
here's what I want, I want this board to decide what they wanna see there, and I don't want looking over here to this table, because I want this board to vote.
Okay, well, I'd like to hear what, I'd like to hear what Mike has to say
I
there.
got a solution that might ease your mind here. I mean, if it's uneasy and we're not gonna get it, guys, is there any way we could make an agreement? Because is there any doubt here we're gonna need dirt on them 2 lots? Can we at least not cost the next guy dirt? What if I was to put it over there, knock it down, and seed it?
I could go along with that.
I just don't want it to be wasted money, because I'm gonna tell you something right now, guys, if you don't watch every dime on these houses and this property, you just don't make no money.
Oh, Paul, I don't want to see rental property there either. you know, I don't think, he does either, really. I think we got a few other places in town that we could build some rental property, but, that's too nice a street and corner and everything for that. And we've got so much rental property that is blighted, and I don't think is the owners are going to put any money into
Chairman, can I
it.
say one more thing? On our financial report here, we got $2,057,099.70. And this is redevelopment. And we got a guy that wants to redevelop the corner. And we're,
And by the way, guys, I'm a guy that went and borrowed the money. I was the first one that walked in here and told you that I'll go borrow the money and use my money on houses. I'm the one that spent at total risk here. Total risk. I've never, when these lots get gave to me, they end up in the people's hands. It's not something that I'm benefiting from. I've made the speech before about how all this lot does is allow me to cut grass and pay taxes. I know what you're saying.
Satch, in the 20 years I've been sitting up here, there's only one guy that's always done exactly what he said, and he's standing there right now.
I think we've all said that.
We all said that.
And he's used
We
local
worked
help
hard
and
to do
local
this.
vendors.
We're stumbling on a $10 piece of land.
I want to ask Paul something.
Ask me.
Paul, if this board would sell you the 4 lots for $10 apiece, would you sign an agreement with a certain period of time that you would have a home built on each one of them, or you would give that property back to Lawrenceburg?
If
To
you
the
want it,
redevelopment?
what's the period of time? Keep
What do
in
you
mind
think?
banking and,
But I'm going to ask
hard
you,
to
what
do.
do you think?
I know, it is.
It's hard.
But all it's going to do is revert back to, but at that time, he's paying taxes on it.
Yeah.
He's owning it. He's
I
paying
know,
property tax.
I know good and well, guys, that, and this is a time frame issue here, so let's just think about it. I'm not gonna get all 4 of these lots done by this Christmas, I'll say.
No, I didn't ask. I
How
mean,
about, but if everything went right, come springtime, hopefully we'd be approaching you guys just like we are now, couple more buyers, ready to open things up. The end of next year, I wouldn't be afraid to give you them lots back.
Satch, would you be interested in 321, 329, and then with the use of 291 and 297 for the dirt? That gives you,
Absolutely.
that gives you 2 lots to build on, and you got the use of these 2 lots.
And that way, that dirt ain't escaping. Right now, that dirt's cheap dirt, but later on, it's expensive dirt.
You want to put that in a motion?
Okay, well, I would be willing to sell Seymour Construction 329 Arch and 321 Arch, $10 apiece. And while building, he has the use of 291 Center and 297 Center for any dirt fill or extraction.
Going to spread it and seed it.
Yeah, it'd be spread and seeded. The 291 Center and 297 Center will be seeded and taken care of.
Second.
Your Honor, may I make a comment?
Oh, man. All right now. We have a motion on the floor and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Go build, Satch.
29 Arch Street no longer exists.
That's the lot numbers. That's still our lot, the lot
That's not
numbers.
the address numbers?
That's the address. numbers, but
That's
it's
the
still-
newly assigned addresses.
I was gonna say, I grew up at 329 Arch Street, and it's Arch Street Playground right now.
No, that's not, that's on the other block.
We're done.
His hand up.
We have to back up, motion for the 10% buyer's assistance.
Well, hold on.
About
We're going to
storm
add,
sewer.
we can do that in another one.
Okay.
Does somebody want to make a motion for the 10% buyer's assistance, which would be $15,000?
Isn't that the one we've already voted on and started that program?
Well, it was being worked on, but it never got finalized, and
No. I'll make that motion to use the 10% buyers program.
Second.
first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Mario?
What about the support for as utilities drainage system?
The stub, the storm sewer?
Well,
Now
like I
let's talk about
said,
storm.
none of that's holding water now. I've seen that. I mean, that's my aunt's old property too, and it's always held water, but since the houses were tore down and put more dirt in there, Dee, have you noticed any water being held in there?
Well, the
Ponding?
thing is, when you dig a hole and put concrete, you're gonna attract the water to that structure.
And how far is it? Did you say like 3 feet?
I think it's less than 3
Yeah,
foot.
it's shallow. In the alley, it's shallow.
If it's shallow, my point there being is, we got a utility company, they got backhoes, they got pipe, they got everything, and I gotta hire it done.
Well, that's the only thing too. We don't use ours, but we sub it out a lot.
Oh, they'll do it.
We put our own drainage.
Yeah, they'll do it. I just.
Paul, I think that's something that we'd need to take to the utility board.
I'll go before.
Okay. Can you,
That
want me to get it
my
put on
deal, if we can make
I was gonna
this
say,
deal.
if they say no, will that hold up this deal or not?
No, I wanna get this done tonight because I'll talk to Owen and he's already made an offer on, Martin Luther King about the taps over there, and I'm sure I could talk to Owen and get him to help me out on that. We'll just see.
Kelly, can you put that on the agenda for the next utility board meeting?
Who wants to present it?
Paul? Thanks, Paul. You have anything else?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
Those are some of the nicest lots in town, actually, as far as big ones.
I'm glad to see
Big
a
lots.
new home gonna be built. Move on to Joe, 18 Bilby Road.
Yeah, my understanding, you may have to help me out, is Mike, isn't that a lot that we got, the city had and transferred to redevelopment? It's on the right-hand side.
Joe and I believe, I thought it was still under the city's name, but I can't verify that right now.
That's right there in that corner, is it?
It's one of them along the right-hand side.
Before the curve.
Very small.
But I'm not sure which one, and I thought that was still titled to the city.
All I got is a note here from Leslie that it had been transferred to the city, and whether or not you guys wanted RFPs or what you had in mind on it. It was?
My understanding.
I would so move we
Yep.
RSP it and then.
I thought when we talked about that before, I thought she was gonna, or somebody was gonna find out exactly which one of those lots it was.
It's right there in the corner.
Because nobody was for sure, just knew it was in.
I'm still
One of
not,
those.
I think my mapping's, I'm just going by what my mapping shows, and I haven't picked up a change from city to redevelopment yet. That could be done, I just haven't picked it up on my mapping yet.
Want to table it till next meeting?
That'd be my recommendation for somebody to make a motion to table. They can bring
That's so
more
move
information.
table to the next meeting.
Second?
Have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I have a couple of things under old business. Oh, you got something else, Joe? No, go ahead.
Snaebell. Are you all familiar with where we are on Snaebell, or that we've gotten a demand from attorney, Mr. Snaebell's attorney?
Yeah, we had a discussion, was it last meeting?
Yes, I seen the list dropped quite a bit, Joe, from the last meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Leslie went through and weeded out those that Mr. Snaebell had absolutely no part in or did no work for. And if you were going to make an offer, now this is obviously to avoid a lawsuit, if you're going to make an offer, her recommendation is $55,000.
65, did you say?
55.
58. I'm looking at these properties, we spoke on this. The only one that I know of, as far as being from redevelopment, of my memory,
Center Street there.
is Center Street, 333 Center Street. I think he was asked to look into that to help us buy that property. These other properties, that I know of, he had nothing to do of. 123 East High Street, Buckingham, he had nothing to do with that, sell that house. Buckingham wouldn't allow it.
Well, I don't know, I'm just saying, I'm just repeating what I was told this afternoon about the situation. I didn't get involved in actually seeing
Was that
whether or not.
list in this package? I didn't get it.
Right there.
Don't give it to us.
Oh, tonight?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like I said, as far as me, when being on redevelopment at that time, the first one is the only one I know he had anything to do with. Now, whether somebody else in the city asked him to look at the properties and work on it, that could very well be. Did Leslie look into that?
That I don't know, Tony. I don't know.
I mean-
She said, though, that she had looked, they sat down and went over them. These were the properties that he did some work on.
He did the Ballard property, the trailer court?
Originally, yeah, he didn't finish it up, but he was originally involved in it.
yeah, but how long prior
I'm
was
not,
it?
wait a minute, I'm not saying I'm just saying whether we should respond or not. If you want to respond to the letter that we got from Mr. Blondell,
Well, that would be part of my decision on that, Joe. If he was asked to work on that Ballard property, then he should be paid for it. If he wasn't, he should not be paid for it.
well, I agree, totally. Do you,
Mario, you, oh, there's.
There was a list given to the staff here of properties that we could remember back that Eric actually worked on. I think at that time was Tom, was the one that had hired. And this list you have in front of you, I think Mike and I are the ones that probably picked these properties. Buckingham's, I don't remember, maybe Mike does on that one, I don't remember that.
I don't recall.
I can guarantee you that wasn't one.
But the Oatman property would be there at the senior housing. I think it's a parking lot now.
Well, you take the Buckingham off of there and you're still lower than.
But when did he work on the Tate Street? I mean,
He did that initially.
I think he was the first one to make contact with.
yeah, but what year was it?
Oh, it was,
That I
Prior to
don't
12.
know.
yeah, oh, it was way
oh,
back.
it's
Yeah.
like '09, maybe '09, something like that.
But I mean, in any real estate deal, if you're going through a realtor and they talk to that property owner, 3 years prior to when you bought it, they're not entitled to anything
Oh,
3
I'm not
years later.
disputing that. We were just asked what properties
Yeah.
that Eric had worked on.
And on the Arch and Center project, he was involved in that one. I can tell you, that was in 2012.
What was the original price he was asking? Amount?
It started out like 600,000. Well, no, originally it was like,
Yeah.
what, 1.4?
Billion something.
Or
I think it
something.
was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it come down to like 600 and, I mean,
Joe,
to save from going to court, the cost of court, I just can't see more of an offer than, minus, take off 32.8 for those two properties.
42,
Huh?
42.8.
No. One's 30,800 commission, one's 2,000 from Buckingham
Oh,
and Ballard.
you're being a little harder than I am, Mike. I just sat here, I figured 25,000 off so we can try and save on these attorney costs and court fees. I would be willing to offer him 33.80. That's somewhere we start at anyway.
3380.
Yeah, I took off 25,000 for it. If he did do some work in the past for it.
Did you say $33,080?
Yeah.
You want to make a motion on that then?
I'll make the motion to try and settle with Snaybelt Realty for $33,080 for the description of the properties given to us.
second.
There's a first and a second, all in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, I
That
got
does it.
Pay that in lawyer fees
Got one
10
more.
times.
I just got in the last appraisal on Durbin Plaza. And the average on as is right now, the way things are right now, the average is 514,000. Whether or not you're interested in purchasing that, that's your own situation. Once again, this is in lieu of a lawsuit which has been threatened but hasn't actually
What was the offer before?
Nothing was offered before.
Or what was the average?
The appraisal, back when we got it, 2013, was, I believe, right around 800,000.
What's the board want to do on this?
My suggestion is.
I think when we ask her,
My suggestion is decide whether or not you want to purchase it first, and then if you want to.
Okay, one question, on that lot property, they got it fenced in now, park semis. Is that part of what we would be buying?
Proximo put that in.
Proximo needs that property apparently for something. They're using it quite a bit.
My recommendation, same as last time, would be not to offer more
Yeah.
than the average of the two appraisals.
Well, Mike, what about offering him that, have him tear down the building? He could tear it down a lot cheaper than we can. Have him tear the building down and then come talk to us, and then whatever it cost him, you know, that appraisal's 500,000. Add his cost of tearing the building down and make the offer to him. Am I making sense there?
I know
yeah,
what you're
we made that request at the last time we talked about this, because he could get it tore down half the price that it cost
Have him
us.
tear it down, and whatever it cost him, then we pay him above the appraised value. I think that's legal, isn't it?
Sure, but now
It'd
understand,
be
this
hard
is,
to,
this is merely opening negotiations. I mean, they're obviously going to take a lot less than they're demanding, because I've been told that.
Yeah.
So it's a question whether, if you want to.
I mean, I wouldn't offer but the 514 with it tore down. That'd be my offer.
I wouldn't offer that much.
With it tore down?
I don't know, everything over there's underground, everything's gotta come out. And what do you think, Carl? Everything.
Well, I don't know what's underground.
You said you'd offer him more or
No,
less?
Less.
I just said my recommendation not to go more than that. Make a motion, whatever you want to do.
We have to start negotiating with the guy. I mean, that's important property. At least let Joe start negotiating with and start out at appraised value. See what
How
happens.
about
Well,
the,
they don't want to go to
how
appraised
about
value.
that
but-
appraised value with the building removed from the property?
That sounds good.
That's somewhere to start at. Because, I mean, like you said, Tom, we are redevelopment, and something's got to be done with that corner.
So, who's gonna make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion that, appraised value and he tears the building down.
With the building removed.
Yes.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mario, does that go all the way to the street?
That property,
How far does it go to the back?
I want to say about 30, 40 foot.
Yeah, not very far.
How far does it go towards the bowling alley?
I think it goes probably about maybe 50 foot from the.
Maybe,
edge of
yeah, the
alley.
bowling alley has a side
And
parking
then on the
lot.
farming side, it goes to the street.
But we own some of the property behind it, don't we?
Mayor?
Where the gas station used to be?
Well, yeah, the city
pumps?
owns that.
That's where the skate
Yeah.
park is, where the gas station used to be at.
Yeah.
Mayor?
I think you better go back and read your minutes. He takes a building down, he can leave a foundation there. He wants foundation and everything out there.
Well, when I say building removed,
Building, I'm just taking building down.
well, when I say building, I mean foundation and all, but you're right, I mean,
If not, you're gonna be paying a lot more money taking out.
there you go, Tom.
I'd like to amend the motion to include, which I thought, the foundation also. The building and the foundation.
Remove.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
That's all I got.
Don?
Why don't the board authorize Joe or someone to go talk to the distillery and start the conversations early on about them purchasing part or all of it.
Thanks.
Mayor's got something.
Mayor?
I have talked to Proxima.
Proxima.
Okay, thanks. I remember that from a couple meetings ago, I think.
You say they're not interested in it?
Not this time.
Well, I'm glad of that anyway. I don't want to see it be a parking lot. I'd rather
I
see
don't
something
wanna-
built on it.
I don't want to see them over there either. Gee.
I have a couple of things, if you're done, Joe.
Done, yeah.
I want to follow up with shipping and fourth, that project. You know, when's the completion date? What was his time frame on that?
When is that, September?
August or September.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you
this
talked to
year.
him, or?
Waiting for them to get started, see.
I talked to one of the subs today. I know they're gearing up as we speak.
Okay. And, I want to follow up, I think there's a couple row houses not done with occupancy permits yet. What's the time frame on them? I thought that was up a long time ago.
Thought we discussed it and found out they weren't up.
Well, I think quite a few months ago, I thought it was like up about that time or something.
Okay, I'd have to go back and check the notes, but I thought,
Well, can you update us on those at the next meeting? Along with, if you do, can follow up maybe with shipping and forth and see when that completion date and follow up with them to see.
okay.
It's just been asked, so I want to stay on top. You have something, Grant?
Yes, I've got a couple items, just a status report. ARA was down on the aging in place housing. We had 4 respondents. Probably going to have them come down at the end of this month and see if we can get a little more word out and see if we can get more people in. Probably the last week of April. So hopefully in May I can report how many, and we can work out the matching grant side of that.
Can there be something sent out in the utility bill or something
I'll
to notify, when that's going to be? Fair, that's probably the best way to get to everybody.
Okay, and speaking of grants, in front of you tonight, this came out Friday. This is a place-based investment fund, between 20 to 50,000. I was going to submit on this. I just wanted you all to be aware of it. I'll come back to you and tell you how successful we were.
And then
But it'll
permission to
probably be
put
for
dirt in
downtown
these.
area redevelopment, signage, wayfinding,
This whole thing's less
Lighting.
than an acre, so they don't.
those type of items. So I want to let you know that I'm going to be out doing that. And then on the update on projects, I got a call from UCB on the land transfer today. I haven't had a chance. Mike, where are we at on that?
On the UCB, actually, all the survey work's been done on that for the vacation plat done. The plans have been submitted to NDOT because we're supposed to, remove the curb cut and put sidewalk back. We're going back and forth with NDOT on some traffic control issues. Hopefully, next week, I can actually request bids or quotes to get that done. So, hopefully at the next meeting, we'll have a quote opening to get that taken care of, because their agreement says they're not gonna close until everything's done.
Okay. All right, thanks. Any other old business? We'll move on to approval of claims once properly certified.
So move.
Have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
First and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Comments from the audience?
I just have, I'm Greg McAdams, Lawrenceburg School Board. I have a question, and I apologize if this has been asked before, but the abatement that you gave Hollywood, do you know how that impacts the school? Does anyone know the amount?
It doesn't, because it's through the TIF.
It's TIF.
I'm sorry.
It's TIF,
Okay,
so it doesn't affect it.
okay, thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a motion? Have a second?
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
I could have beat you that time, here. You're
Opposed?
a little
Motion
slow
carries.
down there. All get busy.
Get you to fill it out for me.